Well, the first grade student in the tri-state is struggling at school, but it has nothing to do with his grades.
He's having a tough time just getting around the building. In this Local 12 News exclusive investigation, medical reporter Liz Bonus shares why his family is now reaching out for help.
He started showing symptoms when he was around 2 years old.
Rowan Marshall was born with Charcot-Marie-Tooth's disease. It's named after the 3 doctors that first observed it. By the age of 2,
he was standing on his feet, on the top part of his feet. So he had to have surgery to release his tendon so he could walk again.
Charcot-Marie-Tooth progresses over time.
It can start whenever it wants. It can be as aggressive as it wants.
Now at age 7, however, Rowan is able to walk with the help of ankle braces.
Yay! Yay! Ow! Ow!
Rowan tries to be a good role model to his baby brother Logan. He too is living with Charcot-Marie-Tooth.
I'm way higher.
Yes, you are. Okay. You got a head start.
Some days, he says, it's hard to get into the swing of things.
But he doesn't let very much stop him, as you'll notice. What he wants most of all, however, is just to be able to do everyday normal things.
Especially at school. Rowan attends Lindeman Elementary in Erlanger, Kentucky.
My favorite thing at school is lunch.
The problem is that inside Lindeman, as these pictures provided by Rowan's dad, Curtis Marshall, show,
The school doesn't have any way to get from floor to floor without using stairs.
And stairs are one of Rowan's biggest challenges. Lindeman has no elevator. When Rowan's dad asked his school district superintendent, Chad Molly, about it,
That the solution was to switch Rowan schools.
Which you don't want to do?
Absolutely not.
I asked Superintendent Molly in writing if this is true and if he would talk with us on camera about it. Through a spokesperson, he declined our request, but sent this statement. It says the Erlanger-Ellesmere School District and Lindeman Elementary School have worked closely with Rowan and his family to meet his current needs. We will continue to work cooperatively with the Marshall family to explore all available options to meet Rowan's needs should they change in the future. The problem with that, according to Randy Blankenship, who now represents the Marshall family, accommodations need to be made before Rowan's Charcot-Marie-Tooth declines. Setup could take time.
There are things they could do. They could move the location of his classes so they're all on one floor. That would certainly help. The other option would be they could put in an elevator for him, of course. They could use a wheelchair lift so that he could ride up and down the stairs. I mean, there's all kinds of things they could do.
Attorney Blankenship recently sent this letter to the school, pointing out that unfortunately Lindeman Elementary is apparently the only 2-story school building in the district which does not have an elevator. Blankenship says because of the year Lindeman was built, an elevator is not currently required by law.
But that doesn't mean they're out of any obligations. They still need to make the building accessible for the child.
I wrote back and asked Superintendent Molly if they are willing to consider any of those specific options. Mr. Molly's communication team member, Cindy Bristol, referred us to the initial statement. In the meantime, those who advocate for all children, including those living with disabilities, such as pediatrician Joe Bailey, say challenges for any child just getting to class could have long-lasting consequences. Dr. Bailey is not part of Rowan's current medical team.
Childhood's difficult enough when you're in the mainstream. It's even worse. It's even worse if you're not. So it's just really important for us to try to help that child do what it is they want to do, obviously within reason.
Now who's winning, huh?
And that brings us back to the reason that Rowan's family says they want his story to be told.
It's not just about my kids, but what happens if somebody gets in an accident and needs to have a cast on? Like, are they going to send them to a different school, or what's the solution here? Because it can't just be my kids. It's going to affect a lot more than just my kids.
In Covington, Liz Bonus, Local 12 News.
The Marshall family did tell us this week Rowan's school reached out to the family's attorney since we started working on this story. A meeting is now scheduled for March 9th. We'll let you know what happens.